What's up, everyone? This is a bit of a different video for me, but I just wanted to talk about this because this news was kind of wild. A little bit of background on myself. I'm a huge animal lover. I always was for many, many years when I was growing up. Before I started making Star Wars Expanded Universe chronological lists, I was making animal lists down to the subspecies. There was an Arizona jaguar. Did you know that? Well, I sure did when I was a kid. I was into all of the subspecies of animals and cataloging them, and the taxidermy, all of that. I was into preserving these animals. I was so into animals. I wanted to be a zookeeper as a kid. And so I was always looking stuff up on my grandmother's iPad about animals. And in 2018, I saw a story that they were trying to do a de-extinction project. I'm sure we've all seen that for decades now. Oh, they're gonna bring these extinct animals back. Very sci-fi, very futuresque, very, dare I say, Jurassic World. So this was a very interesting, kind of weird concept, and I think a lot of us were curious about it. Like, what is this? Why? And they've made a breakthrough, kind of. So why don't we talk about that? They've extracted woolly mammoth DNA from from frozen specimens that they've collected over the years, and they're called bioscience. We'll look later. Colossal biosciences. Really creepy, sci-fi esque type of name there for the company. And what they've done essentially is taken some mice and played with their DNA and their genomes by using woolly mammoth traits such as long hair, um, durable hair, curly fur, and there's one other. It's some kind of lipid fats that make them adapted to a certain climate, so that they could live in the cold. So this is the mouse that it was before, and this is the after they edited it right here. So crazy, like that. It's a completely new looking species, and genetically on the DNA level, I suppose it is a new species as well because it has new traits. But going over, well, I've been seeing a lot of commentary about this, and I was shocked when most of it is good. Most everyone, it seems, pretty hyped about this. Now, I'd be lying if I said I didn't think it's really cute and think that this was an exciting, kind of scientific breakthrough. But at the same time, it's very creepy that we as humans have gone to the level that we can play God. It's disconcerting, I'd say. So we'll click over to the Wikipedia page because there's a Wikipedia page now. The woolly mouse refers to a variety of genetically modified laboratory mice developed in 2025 by, Colossal Biosciences. If that doesn't sound like some supervillain type of name, I don't know what does. As part of an effort toward the de-extinction of the woolly mammoth. The mice feature mammoth-inspired traits, which includes woolly coats and other genetic modifications aimed at cold tolerance. Colossal Biosciences, an American biotechnology company, initiated the Woolly Mouse project as part of their broader Woolly Mammoth de-extinction program. So basically, if they've done this with mice, their plan is to do this with elephants at some point to bring out these furry, woolly genes and bring back the mammoth. Kind of insane that, the mammoth went extinct about 4,000 years ago. Some say 3,500. And it's absolutely wild to think that the DNA of the woolly mammoth exists in a living, breathing, or at least the inspired traits of the mammoth that they found in the which they found preserved in the frozen specimens. It's crazy that DNA is in a living, breathing animal, where the genomes, the inspired genomes, are in an animal 4 millennia later. Kind of wild. Let's see what else they say here. The company made efforts to restore woolly mammoths through genetic engineering of Asian elephants by introducing mammoth-like traits that would allow the resulting species to survive in cold environments. The company proposed that herds of genetically modified elephants with mammoth-like traits could help mitigate climate change. through their impact on Arctic ecosystems. According to the company's hypothesis, these creatures would graze in ways that promote grassland development in tundra areas and reduce permafrost thaw, thus decreasing the release of carbon monoxide from permafrost melt. Certainly an interesting way to deal with climate change. I'm no scientist, so I don't know if that would work. It's certainly an ambitious idea. Bring back an extinct species to fill that role, that niche in the ecosystem up there, and somehow that would help. I don't know if it would or if that's true, but it's certainly interesting to think about. The research was announced in March 2025 with the company stating their intention to produce the first genetically modified elephant calf with mammoth characteristics by the end of 2028. So again, this wouldn't be woolly mammoths back in action. This would be elephants that have thick fur, elephants that have been genetically modified to have mammoth traits, which still, for all intents and purposes, would be mammoth DNA, mammoth genomes, mammoth characteristics, mammoth traits, in a living, breathing animal today. But at the baseline, they would still be, Asian elephants. And these mice, while they do have new characteristics, new DNA, they are still mice, I guess. The research team employed genome editing techniques to develop the woolly mammoth, including the direct genetic modification of fertilized mouse egg and the modification of embryonic mouse stem cells, which were then injected into mouse embryos. This was followed with the implantation of modified embryos into surrogate mice. The scientists targeted 9 specific genes associated with hair characteristics, color, texture, length, pattern, and follicle development. 7 of the genes were selected based on previous knowledge of their influence on mouse coats, with the modifications designed to produce traits that would resemble mammoth features, such as golden-colored hair. While many of the experimental embryos did not develop into viable pups, the successfully born mice exhibited woolly coats with elongated hair of about 5 centimeters in length, bearing a golden brown coloration. The efficiency of genetic editing varied among specimens, with many of individuals displaying 100% of the attempted genetic modification. So this has been a great success, ultimately, by the sounds of it. Notably, mice with the modified fat metabolism gene showed no significant difference in average body mass compared to those without the modification. As of the announcement, the team has not yet conducted behavioral tests to evaluate cold tolerance in the modified mice, though they expressed plans to do so in the upcoming months. Now, the reception has been interesting from the scientific community. Lots of skepticism, which I wasn't surprised about. But, as all of us tend to do, we don't want to hear from news media as much anymore. We want to hear from real people. And the way to do that, clearly, is to type in Reddit. And then you will know what real people are having to say about this. And I was expecting there to be a lot of criticism, like, oh my goodness, what are we doing? We're making new animals. We're making designer species for specific purposes. Like, that's scary, right? This was the first chart I saw of this, which is pretty wild. But darn, these things are cute. They look like just hamster mice. They are kind of mammoth looking. That fur is kind of mammoth looking, I will say. But man, it's I was expecting to see a lot of criticism, a lot of skepticism from people, but instead I saw a severe lack of that. I saw excitement over this. And while a part of me is excited, part of me is like, what are we doing here? Like, I've seen Jurassic World, I've seen Jurassic Park. I know these things don't end well in fiction, but it's crazy that fiction is becoming reality. As a Star Trek fan, we see that a lot. Technology that's put centuries in the future, and now we basically have a lot of that technology that Star Trek said we would have in the future. And this is starting to feel pretty weird. Colossal biosciences? That sounds like the villain of the Jurassic Park movies. So it's just really interesting. One of the best reactions that I saw was from a doctor who said that he said something along the lines of, while skeptical, yeah, he said skeptical. He said, while I am skeptic about the viability of introducing this to elephants and seeing them actually flourish in a natural environment, I'd be lying if I said those mice weren't darned cute. That it was along those lines. I'm maybe paraphrasing a little bit, but I thought that analysis was pretty funny and on point. Like, I'll believe it when I see it with the elephants. I think that is quite a leap from mice. Mice are surely less complex, I would think, than elephants. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're the exact same, but I would think that it would be harder to do this with elephants. But I guess this is a breakthrough, a small step in the right direction for colossal biosciences. Um, it's interesting. I'd love there to be woolly mammoth elephants up in Siberia and up north in the tundra. I think that is dope. That would be so cool. You know, shoot, I'd love to go see them. If there's herds roaming around up there, that would be awesome. Um, that would be awesome to see. But you know, another part of me is like, why are we doing this? How much money is going towards this that could be going to other stuff? Like, I don't know. I feel mixed about it. So I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about it. I do think that that quote from an expert, I think he was from Yale, who said that the mice were at least very cute. I thought that analysis was quite on point. I saw it somewhere on Reddit. But there's a lot of articles out there. These things are pretty wild looking, aren't they? Pretty wild looking little mice guys. Crazy. It's crazy. This seems so small yet also so big. It's really interesting. It just surprised me. So I just wanted to share my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. I did see a lot of Jurassic Park quotes. Where it's the one about your scientists. I'm gonna butcher the quote now. Your scientists asked themselves if they could and didn't stop to ask if they should. Something like that. That's from Jurassic Park. Probably butchered that quote. Embarrassing. But yeah, that's a very viable and valid and adequate quote to encapsulate this. Now, these mice seem harmless. Nothing bad's gonna come of this. They're absolutely adorable. Now I want one. But once we start implementing this into animals that we're releasing into the wild, hopefully it will have a positive impact on the ecosystem there and not absolutely destroy it. Like, imagine if they ended up becoming invasive species and just edging out all of the endangered species that already occupy that environment. That would be absolutely disastrous and could potentially occur. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. Let me know if you like this type of content, me just talking about random stuff that I find interesting. Let me know if you guys like that. I'll be back on some Star Wars stuff soon. I have a good buddy coming to see me. So let me know if you like this type of content. If you'd like to see more stuff where I'm just talking about stuff that interests me. But yeah, I feel mixed about this. Let me know what you guys think about the colossal biosciences woolly mouse. It's just wild. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah.